If you've been feeling frustrated with Squarespace's native search block, you're not alone. It's been ages, I think years, since they've meaningfully updated it. And let's be honest, it leaves a lot to be desired. However, if you get into the world of third-party search plugins, some options like Google Site Search are just ugly, and others are fast but really expensive. But I got good news for you. Finally, there's a solution that is effective and affordable. Ahoy to my fellow Squarespace designers. In this video, I'm going to show you how bad Squarespace's search function really is, how to install and configure Monocle, which is a new search plugin for Squarespace, and how to replace the search text in the site header, which is what they recommend with their install process, how to replace that with an SVG search icon that matches your site's styling. Ready? All right, I need to show you just how bad Squarespace search bar can be. So here is a site I'm currently working on for a client. They teach swimming around the Chesapeake Bay, and they have an event called Swim the South. In fact, you can see it right here in their navigation. Now, I haven't finished overhauling their site yet. It's going to be more searchable, even with the Squarespace search bar when I'm done with it. But for right now, watch what happens if I just type in South to the search bar on this custom 404 page. No results found. And yet there it is, right in the nav. There's a page dedicated to this event, and it's not showing up in search. Okay, so let's look at Monocle search.
And you must be the Monopoly guy.
It is fast, forgiving, and flexible. Fast, they've really got the speed down. Forgiving, it's typo resistant. And flexible, you can play with the design and you can activate it from anywhere using a link. So here's an example. They've got it activatable right there on their site. This is the pricing. Starts at £9 a month. They're based out of Germany, Deutschland. They don't require a credit card or anything for a trial. You can just log right in. So the first thing they ask you for is your site's URL. You click that to start the trial, and they give you a script tag to add into the header of your site. So we're going to go in there to home, website, pages, go down to the bottom here, website tools and code injection, and you add it right here in the header. Then the only other thing you have to do is you go into your navigation and you add a link. You can call it whatever you want. We'll call it search. And the link needs to be /search. Click save. It appears at the top. If you want it, drag it down to the bottom. And behold, when I click on search here in the bar, it pulls up. Let's test it. Oh, look at this. Now when I type in South, as in South River, I see all these different results. But I'll show you a few of the configuration options they have, which are pretty great. So you go into your site, and here they've got design options. It's right aligned by default because on a desktop site, depending on how you have your navigation set up, probably search is going to be towards the right side. You can control sort of how blurry you want the background to be. So notice when I click on search, it slightly blurs the back of it. You can play with that. They give you a few different blur settings. What color should the overlay have? If you want an overlay color over the rest of the site, you can apply that there. What kind of accent color do you want? They have yellow as default. I'm actually going to change it to orange to better match what they have going on brand-wise on this site. Search results-wise, how much context do you want? Basically, rough character count. And do you want the page descriptions to be shown? I'm going to choose to leave them out just to show more results and that kind of thing. Those are the settings, the visual settings. Now you can exclude pages. So say there are some pages like the page not found page that you want to exclude from your results. You would just go in here and enter in the slug. Save changes. They'll exclude the page. And they have other more complicated sort of path or wildcard exclusions you can do as well. But if there's pages that you don't want showing up in site search, you can exclude them there. even working on making member sites searchable. I don't currently have any sites that are using member sites, so I can't demo that here. But that's the long and the short of it. It really is that simple. And there are other site search plugins out there for around $10 a month. ElfSite is one of them. And ElfSite has a few more configuration options, like you can set up a floating search bar and that kind of thing. One thing I've never loved about ElfSite's widgets is that the first tier has a pretty low page view limit. If you go above 5,000 page views, your widget just stops working. The other thing is that ElfSite's site search requires you to also set up Google Site Search account for your site and get a Google API key. So it's just a lot more steps. I mean, you saw how fast this was. They've really done a great job of making it easy to use. Okay, now for the fun stuff. CSS. How can we make this word search? Because maybe, like me, you don't just want the word search in your header. Maybe you want it to be a search icon. Remember the 7.0 days when you could have a search icon in your header? Will Myers has a little tutorial about how to do that in 7.1. I'll include that in my blog post. But here's how we can take this boring text link and turn it into a search icon. First things first, I'm going to change it from a search into a search emoji as the placeholder. Okay, so check that out. So if you're happy with that, with just a search emoji, no custom code needed. But if you want to take it to the next level, here's what you do. You're going to need to add 2 custom bits of code. One to the page header injection. This bit of code here, what it does, it finds the links in your header that link to /search. It replaces the text of the link, which in this case is an emoji, with an SVG search icon. So I'm going to click save and watch what happens. Now it's an icon. Boom. Now I got that search icon from svgrepo.com. And basically what you would do is if you want a different search icon, you would find one you like, download it, open it up. You would open up the SVG in a text editor, and you would grab the SVG code and you would replace this SVG section with my SVG code. There's one crucial change you need to make though. You will need to change the fills and the colors so that it looks right with your color scheme. And the way to do that is to use this, change the fill to this attribute, current color. And that will pull in whatever the color is for the text of your header nav links. So current color with a capital C for color, making that your fill for the SVG. And in some other cases, you may need to change the fill from black to none or whatever it is, how it's set up. So that's your header code. Now we got to style it a little bit to get it in line with the rest. And so you go into custom CSS, and I've created these 2 CSS snippets. Let's drop them in here. And this is for the desktop header. It looks for the link that links to search, and it does a little bit of width and height and alignment adjustment. Now you see it's in line with the rest of the navigation. There's a problem, and that is if you don't do any custom code for the mobile view, it'll just be the same size as it was on desktop, which to me looked a little small. I usually have my mobile nav text be a little larger. And so there's one other bit of custom CSS you can drop in there that will enable you to change the scale of it and play with the margins. So if you wanted to make it real big, you could. You would just want to play with the margins so that it spaces out correctly. So you see what I'm doing there. But I'm going to go back to 1.4. I feel like that was a better ratio. Just a 10 pixel bump. So there we go. So now you've got site search in your mobile menu too. And that's it. Now we've got a site search icon that loads up this awesome Monocle search dialog on desktop and mobile, looks integrated with the style and design of the site, and most importantly, helps your site visitors get where they want to go. So if you're ready to get started, head over to my blog post, which is where you'll find the code snippets that I used to do some of that customization at the end. If Squarespace Search is working good enough on your site, and you just want to add a search icon into the top of your 7.1 site like we used to be able to in 7.0, Will Myers has a great tutorial to that. I'll link to that on my blog. But if you're tired of dealing with inadequate search results, give Monocle a try. They got a 14-day free trial. In my experience, it is a cost-efficient, very effective, good-looking solution that will enhance people's user experience on your site. Happy designing.
Hey, thanks for the free parking.
Another activist, McGuire.
Activist, yes. Activist, yes.